I wanted to talk about because we were speaking about Dana, and Dana put out that Shogun, after losing to Big Paul Craig, Scottish fighter, was definitely going for a hit for Scotland when he beat Shogun. I believe for the second time after their fight, and they drew. I was like, I thought Paul won, but we all thought that was Shogun's last fight, and that was certainly what Dana thought. Dana went, Shogun's done. That was his last fight. I don't want to see him in the octagon again. And then recently we'd seen, especially on Twitter and social media, Shogun has retired, and we were like, yay. And I actually put out, I'm glad that Paul Craig was his last fight, because they got to have that draw, and then they had a second fight, and then that was a nice end to the story, right? Turns out Shogun's not retiring. Shogun's manager came out and actually said, we've had a chat with Dana. We understand why he thought that. Turns out no. Turns out Shogun's not done. Shogun said, from how much experience and love he has for the sport, he really wants to not leave the sport on a bad note. I believe he wants one win, and then he's out and he's done. I think Dana would be happy for him, and apparently that's what happened. His manager and Dana had a good chat with Shogun, and it looks like Shogun's gonna stay and be employed with the UFC for one more fight. Hopefully Shogun can get the win, and then he's off, riding off into the sunset.
No one likes to finish with a lose. No one really wants to end their career with a loss.
The one that's bad that comes to mind is Michael Bisping. Gets the title, defends against Dan Henderson, loses against GSP, should have stopped there.
Yeah.
Then comes back 3 weeks later after
against
a devastating loss
against Shanghai, gets KO pretty badly.
Very badly.
And then, he had those barrage of eye problems. He talks about it all in his book, Losers Never Quit. Winners Never Quit.
I wanted to see that, but it looks like a really good autobiography. It's
phenomenal.
I mean, Bisping to this day is still dealing with so many injuries. He just got something fixed with his neck.
Yeah.
I think he was getting an epidural done on his neck. He's got severe neck pain from wrestling.
Yeah, he's had knee replacement surgery.
Both knees.
Yeah, both knees.
Yeah.
He's lost an eye to the sport.
He's given limbs to the sport.
Yeah, he's literally. But that's probably, he's probably going to go down as one of my favourites of all time. I mean, I've got to give him that, But now, earlier on, we talked about, just a couple of minutes ago, we talked about Shogun, and it's going to be his last fight. Who would you like to see Shogun fight last, though?
It's difficult because Shogun's getting old.
Where does he sit in the rankings? Do you know?
I think he's unranked.
You think he's unranked?
I don't think he's ranked. I think he's unranked. He's around 40 years old. And around that time, you need to start thinking retirement setting. So I don't know how that goes with Shogun, because Shogun's been a crazy aspect of MMA, certainly in the Asian circuit. So I think with Shogun, with the amount of, let's not forget, Shogun had the light heavyweight belt.
Yeah, he did.
And John Jones was the one that took it from him, and then Correct. John Jones had the belt for a very, very, very long time. But Shogun's been a huge proponent of the sport, and it's a shame. I don't want to see him leave like that. But I was happy that he would lose to Paul Craig, and then he's done.
Well,
right?
The reason why I think he wants one more is because of his last 5 fights. He's lost 2, won 2, drawn 1. So he's apparently, according to this source, he's currently ranked 43 in the light heavyweight rankings.
Yeah.
So
just
unranked.
Close, so. Unranked, yeah.
Yeah, you can't really give him a ranked fighter, so something like that really isn't high enough to be a main event, but probably main card.
I don't know if they'll do that. They might put him on the main card just out of being out of respect for what he's done and the amount of blood he's spent in the sport. However, he's most likely getting put on the prelims.
Yeah.
Most likely. Maybe the end of the prelims just to open up the main card. It'll be Shogun versus... I don't see him fighting a no-name because it is still Shogun. He's still dangerous. Very dangerous. Let's not forget he got a draw against Paul Craig in his second last fight. But I see him getting given a good name. Yeah. Unranked fighter. in the light heavyweight division, and it's going to open up the prelims for the main event of some UFC card, most likely UFC Fight Night or something like that. I see that happening. He's probably going to fight somewhere around July or something like that.